Okay, so let's get to Mayorkas. Number one takeaway is this. He is a weak man. And this is the guy in charge of Homeland Security, protecting us, we the people. He is weak. Okay? I don't know him. I've never spoken to him. But I did speak to all of the other Homeland Security chiefs. There were varying, strengths and weaknesses. This guy is just weak. Okay? And he's not going to tell you the truth. So the first thing that he says is he blames Trump for everything. Go.
One of the greatest obstacles we have, Mr. Chairman, is to overcome the distrust that was sown by the prior administration through its cruel policies. Many remain still feel fearful, given what trauma they experienced and continue to experience.
It's so much BS. And he has to do it. He's got nothing else. It's Trump's fault. Trump, and the record shows, stopped the mass illegal immigration. Okay. So the Democrats on the committee, all right, the House Judiciary, they don't want any part of this. But the Republicans were gleeful. Here's a soundbite with Louis Gohmert from Texas. Go.
I'm wanting to know, though, who makes the decision where these different bus loads, plane loads, train loads, who makes the decision where they are going to go in the country?
So, Congressman, there are different tiers of disposition depending on the risk.
Who makes that decision in ICE?
The ICE personnel with expertise make a decision with respect to who should be detained.
But, all right. He's not going to tell you. Mayorkas doesn't. I don't know if he knows. I don't know who makes the decisions on these illegal flights that the Biden administration has ordered from the border into states. And the states aren't notified. They don't know they're going to dump a plane load of migrants into New York State or wherever. They just show up. Now, it's a federal flight. They have to clear it, but they don't have to explain it. Because remember, the federal government is in charge of immigration. If they want to move migrants, they can move migrants and no state can stop them. And so I say illegal because what they're doing is they're putting people in danger. The migrants themselves, because they don't know where they're going, and the people in the communities where the planes are landing. And I think you can make a strong case that that's illegal. So, Mayorkas, even if he knew he wasn't going to say. Second soundbite. This is Congressman Ken Buck, Colorado. Go.
Are you ashamed for what you've done to this country?
Congressman, I have so much to say.
You got a minute and 17 seconds to say it.
In response to what you have just said, it is so profoundly offensive on so many different levels, in so many different regards. I won't ask you for an apology.
Don't.
All right, so Mayorkas, listen. Mayorkas thinks he's noble. The Biden administration think they're virtuous because they're letting all these poor people in. That's their mindset. You're never going to persuade them. So, Buck from Colorado, are you ashamed? Mayorkas isn't ashamed. He doesn't care about tons of narcotics coming in here or migrants being abused in Mexico on the way up to the border. He doesn't care. He said, no, I'm noble. And that is the progressive movement. Third soundbite. This is Jim Jordan, a bomb thrower. You know him. He's on Fox News. I think he's got his own show there. From Ohio. Go.
Let me ask you one last thing. 42 illegal immigrants were encountered at our border are on the terrorist and no-fly list. Are any of them still in our country?
Gentleman's time has expired.
This is an important question for this committee. Are any of them still in our country?
Congressman, I will deliver
can't.
to you a response with respect
No,
to
no, no. That's a
this
simple
position.
question. Are terrorists people on the terrorist watch list, no-fly list, are they still in the United States that you've encountered on the border?
Congressman, some of them may be still in detention. So I will.
Have any of them been released? Have any of them been released?
Time has expired.
This is
The
critical for the.
chair recognizes
You got 42. Have they been released? Will the gentleman
Ms.
answer that question?
Jayapal.
Congressman,
Thank
I will
you.
provide you with.
Thank you,
the
They
Madam
may have been released.
Chair.
Ridiculous, absurd. Of course, Mayorkas knows this story has been in the news for a month. 42 people on the terror watch list were apprehended trying to sneak into this country on the southern border. Mayorkas knows. He has the list. He's just lying. Flat out. Well, I'll send you. Yeah, we'll fire. Some of them may be detained. He knows who's detained and who isn't. He has to, and if he doesn't, he should be fired on the spot. Okay, this is ridiculous. And that's why the Biden White House didn't want anybody to see it, and that's why the network news and most of the cable operations won't cover it. It's ridiculous. This is the Homeland Security Chief, and you don't know where those 42 people are? Okay, finally, Chip Roy, congressman from Texas, he, had enough, I guess. Go.
How about the little girl here with a brand on her arm? A little girl with a brand on her arm because of your policies. A little girl here in the desert found by ranchers trying to save their life. And how about the lost voices for people dying from fentanyl? The tens of thousands of Americans dying from fentanyl. Faces of Americans across this country dying because of fentanyl pouring into our country.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
You know full well.
Time of the gentleman has expired, Ms.
Encouraging people to come here, harming Texas and harming this country. You know it. And you're ignoring
The
the
time
actual
of
truth.
the gentleman has expired. He no longer has time to slander the secretary.
Nadler is a despicable human being. He is a despicable. I know him. Okay, so if you are an American who cares about your country, what conclusion can you form about what happened today in that hearing in front of the House Judiciary Committee? That alone disqualifies President Biden and his whole administration from re-election. That alone. This is a game of life and death. They have no answers. Their dereliction of duty, in a sense that they won't enforce immigration laws on the books, is an impeachable offense. I don't know if Biden will be impeached. He may be once the Republicans take the House in November. It's an impeachable offense. He's not going to be able to defend himself. But you need 2/3 of the Senate to convict, and I don't think that is going to happen. But believe me, you saw the charade with Trump, a phone call to Ukraine, a preposterous slander about January 6th. That got into the impeachment realm. This is 1,000 times worse than those two things. They're really disturbing.